Okay, well, look at that. I managed to find, oh, there we are. I managed to find a schematic, and not a bad one either. And I also found a comment on the internet from someone who's familiar with these General Electric radios more than me. And his comment was, always check the plate resistor on the SQ7, 6SQ7. They've marked it here with a green dot. There it is. And his comment was, this resistor fails in all these radios. He kind of commented, he thought they must have bought a bad lot of 470,000 ohm resistors, and that's exactly what's there. So we'll hunt this guy down and see if that person's advice is valid. The lucky thing is, all the capacitor sizes are on here. Unlike that Philips radio, I don't have to refer back to a chart and decipher the whole thing. They're written right on there. Nicely drawn schematic too. Tubes are shown upside down from what is the modern convention, so the plate is shown on the bottom. And that's a little tricky for me when I look at it. I kind of have to turn it around in my head a little bit. But there's many capacitors, a lot of weird sized capacitors. Here's a 5.6 microfarad. Sizes like that. 110 microfarad. 220. I'm not sure I have these exact capacitors. And these are resonant capacitors in here. The size is really critical. So there'll be some well, these are actually right in the IF can, so I don't have to touch these particular ones. But I'm sure, as an example, I will be facing a few capacitors here and there where I'm going to go, maybe we'll just leave that one right there, because the replacing of it is difficult. Well, 20-something capacitors, 4 hours. Warming up my soldering iron right now. So let's get ready to do that work. And you know what? If I could turn this radio upside down, and I think I can. Yeah, this radio can be turned right upside down. So while my soldering iron warms up, I will do that. Let me unplug it too from the power source. Okay, so there's no chance of me getting a shock. And we'll turn this guy right on his back here. A lot of radios you cannot do this kind of thing. That's beautiful. Ooh, sticking in my carpet. What's going on here? Okay. My antenna connection's just, antenna line's just a little short. Let me just make the space work here properly. Pull the plug on the speaker too, so I'm not dragging that around. And I'm going to turn the radio right around because the angle is, well, you know what, maybe I'll leave it this way. The angle is good for the camera angle that's coming. A little backwards for me, but not bad. You may not even understand what am I talking about. Okay, so put this here, that there. Now I usually like to go after the harder capacitors first. And I counted up quite a few. These are pretty easy. These are pretty exposed. The tough ones are kind of hidden back in here, especially down in here. That's really tough. And these are the odd sized guys too, I think. I can get this plate out of here. That would help with that capacitor right there. And I'm going to have to, it's going to take a lot longer than 4 hours. I'm going to have to relate every one of these capacitors to the schematic and make sure I know which one I'm doing, mark it off as I go, all that kind of stuff. So, hey, this is quite the coil here. Quite a few windings on it. I'm gonna guess that's the antenna coil. Where to start? Where to start? I'm gonna start by taking this metal plate out of here. Hey, where's my... Was I mumbling about metric and English? Metric and English and all the crazy numbering systems that have been developed for everything from vacuum tubes to wire sizes and all that stuff. If people could do it over again, they'd do it a little different. Okay, I'm just putting the screws back in here because I'm going to forget where they came from if I'm not careful. Okay, and that can go with the bag of goodies. Bag of goodies is back with the cabinet. Okay. A little more space in here now. Is that a hair or a wire? What is that? It's a big long hair, so it's certainly not mine. Okay. Well, another way to approach this is just kind of start in one corner and just work across the radio, and maybe that's what we're about to do, kind of. We'll start with this one right here. And he's connected to this tube. I don't have a tube diagram right here. I'm going to have to memorize which tube's which. Okay, so that's a 6SK7. And I believe is this one right here. Right here, rather, 6SK7. And coming off of the first pin, pin 1. So 6SK7 pin, yeah. Well, that's the tube number 1, 2, 3. Well, you have to learn to read everybody's diagrams too. There's the little nubbin up there. So depending upon how we're looking at these, hopefully we're looking from the bottom. Don't know if it says anywhere on here. So, well, until we know otherwise, we'll assume this is looking at the bottom. So that would make that pin grounded. Yes, grounded. So this capacitor is just going to ground off of here. Nothing to do with the tube. Nothing to do with the tube, so that's not going to help. Now, where's this wild coil here? This wild coil of coils. I'm going to have trouble finding that. Recognizing it. Probably not smart enough to recognize this multi-coil on this diagram. are we going to know what capacitor that is, for crying out loud? Here's a resistor hooked up to a red wire that goes to the capacitor. Hey, that's not too bad. Yikes. Okay, right off the power supply. I'm going to have to go color these wires maybe. Color the lines on the page here. Coming up here. Gotta make our way all the way back. Too many wires, I'm losing track of things. We come up to a resistor that's 1000 ohms, and then to a capacitor C9.01. So 1000 ohm resistor, is that a 1000 ohm resistor there? By gory gosh, it is. Brown, black, red, 1000 ohms. So there it is. Okay, so that's great. I know where I am now. 1000 ohms. So that's the capacitor, 0.01. We can fearlessly replace that capacitor. Fearlessly. So let us do this. Out you come, Mr. 0.01. He's making a break for it. But I got him. A 0.01. Let's see here. There's a 0.01. And this is where I'm you know, I walk away and come back, what's that, a fraction of a second, and I look at the radio and you know what? I'm not sure where it came from. That's why I always leave these tails. Because no matter how much I think I can remember, I cannot. I am bamboozled by all these wires and stuff. We'll solder the easy one up here first. Am I putting this in too soon? Is it in the way of something else? No. No. Okay, soldering iron. Should be plenty hot. Plenty hot. There we go. Now, it's early November. I'm going on a trip for a week, and I'm posting these videos late. And I'm posting them about a week, even later after I've done them, which I don't really like, but that's what's happened. I'm making them faster than I can post them. But while I'm away on vacation, I'll be able to catch up on the backlog here. So I'll probably be posting this video about a week from now. And then when I get back, I'll be kind of zeroed out again. Hey, that's one done. One done. I should mark it on my... let me get a marker. Hang on a sec. Okay. Well, guy off here. Where is he? Where'd he go? Where'd he go? That's this one right here. Ooh. It really marks it off, doesn't it? Better be a little light fingered with my marker. I'm gonna have one big blue blob when I'm done. He's done. Now, right next to him, because now I can find this coil. This coil must be this thing here. I think it's more likely this. This coming down here. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 separate coils. So here they are. So looking for another capacitor here, right in this area, connected to the other, like the resistor capacitor I've identified is connected to this coil, and on the other side of the coil is this capacitor. Ooh, that's gonna be. Oh, look how they've drawn this. Hey, what's going on there? There's something peculiar about the way that capacitor is shown right there. I'm sorry. I got this right out of view here. Keep my eye on the camera over there. Yeah, I apologize for that. I'm not watching my screen enough. So I'm trying to, because I know where this resistor capacitor point is, right there. I know where that point is. And give me a better pointer. Okay, so I want to follow up, look for a capacitor connected to the other side here. There he is, right there. And I think that's this, right here. Could be this. There's two capacitors. Blue wire down to the tube from them. They go straight to the tube. So here's the two of them. There's a wire straight to the tube, and that's the right tube. Okay, so I found this point. This point is this point. You get two capacitors, both going into the switch from there. See, one going over here to the switch, one going down here and into the switch. Son of a gun. One is a 220 micro. I can say pico for that, can't I? 220 picofarad, and this one is a 5.6 picofarad capacitor. Let's see, well, one of them, where it connects, there's another capacitor coming right off. So one of them connects to a point. There's the other capacitor right there. So now I know which are these two. These two are these two. This one is this one. So that's the 220. That's the 220. Oh boy, I hope I'm showing you this on the camera. Anyway, I apologize again if I'm doing terrible camera work here. I'll try to do better. Okay, so the 220 is this one. 220 right there. 220. Have I got a 220? 220 picofarad. 220 picofarad. picofarad. Okay, what's a 220 picofarad? What is that? 220 picofarad is a Can't get my head around that. 0.00022. I think I have some of those somewhere. What did I do with them all? Okay, let me stop for a minute while I scare down where I put my capacitors here.